Hi, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to Outsiders, and tonight we're going to do another DM's Tips programme, and tonight I'm going to talk about, as was suggested by Brandon, we look at preparation in even more detail. So we're going to look at it a little bit more. Now, we've talked about preparation before. Preparation, I believe was the video that we called it, and we discussed some techniques there. I'm going to take that now another step forward. So this is a little bit more advanced than that video and hopefully covers off a bit of new ground for you, and I hope maybe give some tips to even some experienced DMs out there. So who knows? Let's see what happens and see what you make of it. When I'm running a game, personally, there's a lot that I prepare. Now, I may have said in my previous video, hey, I only need 2 sheets of A4 paper. There's a lot of thought process that goes into getting those 2 sheets down. So you're thinking about your storyboarding, you're thinking about how the flow of the game's going to work, you're thinking about the sort of things that are going to make it tick. But behind that, you need to have simple preparation. So what sort of things? You start with the basics, so it depends on the system. Is everything to hand? Do I know where to find it? Is it well organised? Are there any specific rules I need to know about for that session? If so, where are they and how easy are they to access without it seeming like we're fumbling around? I'm going to give you some examples, right? I'm probably going to try and do something in a little roundabout way, and I'm really struggling actually to find something, but I'll take this because it's ideal because I was just drinking out of it. I've got a bottle of beer here. This is a Grolschlager beer, but what I'm going to do with it is very simple. I'm going to describe to you a little bit about this bottle. Okay, this may sound odd, but bear with me. So what I've got here is Grolsch Premium Lager. It's been around since 1615. It's a beer that comes from the Royal Gardens of Holland originally, off the grape. This particular bottle is 275ml and has 5% alcohol in it. In the UK, this is equivalent to 1.4 units. We measure units over here in terms of how much you can drink before you're considered to be drunk by the law when you're driving, or for that matter, personally people measure how many units they have to drink. This is a recyclable bottle, and it is recommended that pregnant women do not drink this bottle. Do not drink lager from a bottle like this. So that's Grolsch Lager. Now, I haven't prepared this. What I've done is ad-lib with it. Now, what you might notice if you started to think back on this video and start look at that in detail, ad-libbing. So how did I ad-lib it? Just as I looked at it, I pointed at things and I showed you. So I was saying Grolsch Lager, since 1615, it's all on there. There's nothing on this bottle that I haven't just read off or ad-libbed with. And that's the secret, because if I'm having to go, yeah, Grolsch Lager, hang on, let me have a little look here. Yeah, now it's it's from Holland. If I start fumbling around, which is what a common DM's basic mistake is with preparation. They may not think this, bear with me. They may not think it's a mistake. But if you think about it for a second, guys, take yourself back to your own game. Are you ever fumbling around with rule books? Are you looking things up? Do your players realise that you're struggling? Because psychologically, they pick up on it. They sort of know in themselves, he's fumbling with a monster manual. Encounter's coming, get ready for it, lads, get ready. And they're all, they're edgy. You've lost your audience. It's that classic smoke and mirrors, when to deliver it, yeah? It's like a weapon of mass destruction hidden. Don't let your secrets out before they come. Ad-lib, yeah? If you need to know where certain rules are, you need to have the preparation time in, because you don't want to be looking them up in the game. Yeah. Now you can do that in a number of ways. Some people talked about using iPads behind the screen and having rules to handle. Whatever works. It doesn't matter how you get prepared, whether you photocopy it, whether you write them down, whether you've just got it well looked up before it happens, whatever it is. And another piece of advice I've always give DMs, is when you're running a game, right, and there are always, in every session, I always find there's a moment, a judgment call moment, you've got to think out your feet. It's not covered by the rules. I think, to be honest, if they were all covered by the rules, it'd be pretty boring. So you have to make a decision. And it's that key moment that defines you in terms of the best, the okay, and perhaps still learning. Yeah. But if you can nail your call and stick with it going forward, if it's a good call, you've cracked a lot of your DMing problems. Because remember, when people say things like, just take it away from DMing for a second and think about it in terms of, when you go for a job interview, right, it's how you look. Right, that's the first impression that counts, okay? Impressions really count for DMs. Yeah, it really, really counts as far as your player's perception of you. If you want to turn up, half unprepared, you know, just come out of bed, dishevelled. I don't know what it speaks of about your game. Perhaps that's the way you are. Maybe you're laid back and everything else. But trust me, make the effort to be super prepared, ready, excited, infused about what you're about to do. And it's amazing how that can lift the crowd. We talked about communication. Somebody spoke back. I think, I can't remember his name, and I do apologise for my weakness. But he said, you know what? There's a kinetic energy that you deliver as a speaker that is critical when you're talking about your audience. And that's so true, you know, as a DM. Your appearance, the way you do it, your energy, the way that you don't actually have to resort to looking at things because people think, God, he knows, you know, he's got that down, he knows what he's doing. Makes a huge difference in terms of what your players think about your game. If you are fumbling around with a book, and I can't even find one to fumble around with, but let's take a book. Say that's my role-playing book, yeah, and I'm fumbling around trying to look rules up in the index and everything else. You've lost. It's over. Yeah, it's not going to work. Now, you can lie slightly. You know, we always say smoke and mirrors. Let's give an example. If that's the rule book, and I want to buy myself some time, and I want to make it seem as if I'm trying to do the player a favour, you can, you know, my opinion is that you only ever look rules up if the game is on the line. If someone's character's life is in the balance, yeah, and it could be a combat situation, yeah, and you don't know how the battle's going to turn out because your rule decision. Maybe it's going to turn out to be, you know, a bad call if you don't really look at it. It's probably worth saying, guys, listen, I'm going to take a moment out here because, you know, so-and-so raised a great point. I think that's probably worth a double check. So I've got my own notes on it. I thought I was accurate, but I'm going to just take a look. Now, you notice what I said. So-and-so said, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was a good idea. I'm going to take a second look just to make sure that I'm comfortable with my own rule that I've written down. It makes it sound like I'm prepared. I may not have written anything down. So you can take a moment. It needs to be quick. You may have your rules lawyer guy in hand. This is another point we've mentioned before. Have somebody who may look up the rules that night ready for you. No problem. If they're competent enough and know what they're doing, it's fine. Because you can turn to them and say, while I'm running the combat, just take a quick look at that for me. Make sure that my call is right. It doesn't really matter. But that's the point, yeah? It's how you come across is so important to your players. It's so paramount. And you lose more players if you're not fair. I've been lucky in my life that I've got a lot of players that have stuck in my groups. A lot of them are stuck. I mean, a number have moved on because family matters and time issues and what have you. But they all phone me up from time to time, or they come back and say, you know, God, I miss those games. You're still doing it. Unbelievable. Who's still there? And you tell them, and they go, wow, that's amazing. There's a reason, right? It's got to be more than just good storytelling. It has to be more than that. It is about being so prepared, so professional in the way that you approach it. You know, it is a science, right? We don't get the credit as DMs that we deserve. We know that. We don't do it for that. We don't do it so people praise us outside of our group. We do it for the group to say, God, I love that guy's refereeing. I thoroughly enjoy what he does. That's why you do it. I want people to look back. Right? I've said this to my own children in the past. I say to my kids all the time, you know, when I go, I want you to look back with fond memories of your childhood. It's the same when I DM. I want people to look back on my games, whether they walk away from the game or something happens to us. Yeah? It's like these videos. I want you guys to look back and say, I got great advice from this guy. It was fantastic what I got. Gold nuggets that this was given away to me. Brilliant. I want my players to look back at me and say, that's a fantastic game. And look back in 20 years and laugh about things, which we still do. That's what you're striving for. It is a professional game in a way. You are trying to elevate it. If you're not trying to elevate it, that's fine. If you've got a medium where it's kicked down the door and it's a dungeon bash and you're all having a laugh, that's great. No problem with that. If that's what your guys want and you're enjoying that too, brilliant. Good for you. But for me, I'm on a journey, personal journey, where I want to try and elevate myself to a point where I want to be regarded as one of the great DMs. Yeah, you know, I'm never going to win an accolade for it, yeah? But I want to inspire other people, and that's why I do the videos. And preparation is such a critical part about being a great DM. And I mention it again because it's not just about the little things you can do in terms of preparing for encounters and things you can get ready. It goes much more into the psychology of the game and the things that you do and how they impact on the people around you is immeasurable. And another thing I'm going to quickly touch on, because I appreciate we're going to run out of time here, is be dramatic in your preparation. So think about and advance the story, where you think tonight, where do you think the game's going to end that night, right? If you can get to a point, this is where I'm at the moment, and this is something my own players have got to shake me out of this. They know that if I make a prediction before the night's game, I can write down on a piece of paper where I think they'll end up, what I think they will have done, and what they will have achieved. Are my games linear? No chance. They're wide open. My players can go anywhere. They know that. They can do anything they want to do. But I have it. I've got it down to a psychological art about generally what people are going to do and what is likely to happen. I don't always get it right. But because I've got that part so prepared out in my mind of where we should be taking the game to, it makes it so much easier to arrive at those points. It's so much nicer. Anyway, a quick recap. So, preparation. It's all about you, your image, the way that you go about it, how you portray yourself, how you don't have to resort to things, how you are vocal, dramatic, how you move around the table sometimes is more important than anything else. The words you use, the energy that you give off is massively important. Your enthusiasm will inspire your players. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what is the journey that you're on as a DM? Is it to continually elevate yourself up to a point where you're one of the greats? Or is it something else? Is it just for fun? What is it that you want it to become? And if it is for fun, how do you want to take that fun? To what part do you want it to become? How do you want to elevate your game to be as fun as it can be? They're still the same things. Anyway, I've been Sean Connors. This has been preparation, the deeper preparation of gaming and GMing. Till the next time, happy gaming and see some of you over the weekend.